Watching 227 Show 2025 is like stepping into a living mosaic of family life, where humor, conflict, and poignant reflection intermingle seamlessly to create a portrait of everyday heroism that feels both intimate and universally relatable. From the very first scenes, the show establishes its tonal duality, effortlessly blending moments of laugh-out-loud comedy with quieter, more introspective sequences that allow viewers to linger on the characters' emotional landscapes. The opening sequence immediately sets the stage with the familiar urban apartment building that has served as the backdrop for decades of stories, but with a renewed vibrancy that speaks to the updated sensibilities of 2025. The camera pans slowly across the building's facade, catching subtle details such as a flickering light in one window or a child chasing a pet along the fire escape. And this meticulous attention to environment signals the show's commitment to creating a living, breathing world. The protagonist of the series remains Mary Jenkins, whose role as the moral and emotional center of the show has evolved over the years, now carrying the weight of multiple generations of her family, while still maintaining her irrepressible wit. Early in the pilot episode, Mary is seen navigating the chaotic morning routine of her household, a sequence that is at once hilarious and profoundly telling. Her attempts to manage breakfast, school drop-offs, and a conference call illustrate her dexterity in balancing the absurdity of daily life with the undercurrents of responsibility that define her character. The writing here is sharp, with rapid-fire dialogue that reveals character traits without resorting to exposition. One particular scene where Mary tries to negotiate with her teenage son over his participation in a neighborhood talent show encapsulates the show's approach to humor and pathos. Her stern yet affectionate warnings are met with exaggerated eye rolls, whispered side remarks, and comedic timing that makes the interaction feel organic, rather than scripted. The supporting cast shines in these moments, each character bringing a distinct voice that complements Mary's grounded presence. Albert, her brother-in-law, functions as a foil, embodying both the lovable bumbling uncle archetype and a mirror to Mary's own vulnerabilities, and his subplot involving a misguided attempt to fix the apartment's aging boiler adds a layer of slapstick humor, while also reflecting themes of perseverance and familial duty. Beyond the comedy, the series excels in its depiction of nuanced interpersonal dynamics. A mid-episode sequence involving a neighbor dispute over a shared garden plot evolves into a meditation on empathy, compromise, and community cohesion. The writers interlace humor with reflection, employing visual cues such as lingering close-ups on characters' faces during moments of realization, subtle shifts in lighting to underscore emotional tone, and recurring motifs that remind viewers of the interconnectedness of the building's residents. What is particularly remarkable is the show's ability to explore serious social issues without undermining its comedic foundation. Topics such as intergenerational conflict, economic pressure, and cultural identity are woven into the narrative with care and subtlety. In one notable episode, Mary's niece struggles with balancing her cultural heritage with peer expectations, a storyline that unfolds through both dialogue and symbolic imagery, including family heirlooms, shared meals, and neighborhood interactions. The show's direction demonstrates a mastery of pacing, with quick, energetic sequences punctuated by quieter, reflective moments that allow the audience to absorb emotional beats. There is a notable scene where Mary sits on the rooftop at dusk, watching the city skyline while contemplating her role as both mother and mentor, and the cinematography captures a sense of stillness and introspection that contrasts beautifully with the bustling energy of earlier scenes. This balance between comedy and emotional depth is a hallmark of the series, and one of the reasons it resonates so strongly with a wide audience. The narrative structure of 227 Show 2025 also deserves attention. Episodes often interweave multiple storylines, each developing independently while converging in moments of catharsis or revelation. For instance, a subplot involving Albert's romantic misadventures eventually intersects with the family's larger narrative, creating moments of comic relief that simultaneously offer commentary on human vulnerability and resilience. The show's editing style supports these transitions, using visual motifs such as doorways, windows, and shared spaces to symbolically link storylines and reinforce themes of community and interconnection. Music and sound design further enhance the viewing experience. The series employs a mix of contemporary tracks and original scoring, carefully calibrated to underscore emotional beats without overwhelming the scene. In one episode, a soft piano theme accompanies a tender moment between Mary and her granddaughter, signaling the importance of legacy and intergenerational bonds, while upbeat, jazzy interludes punctuate lighter sequences, reinforcing the show's playful tone. Character development remains central to the series' enduring appeal. Mary's evolution in 227 Show 2025 is particularly compelling. She balances traditional familial roles with modern sensibilities, often challenging societal expectations in subtle ways. One memorable scene depicts her mediating a conflict between two neighbors, employing both humor and insight to navigate competing perspectives. The dialogue is crisp and naturalistic, avoiding cliches and instead capturing the nuances of real-life conversations. Albert, too, experiences significant growth. His comedic failures are offset by moments of introspection and genuine kindness, creating a multidimensional character whose struggles and triumphs mirror those of ordinary people. The show's attention to detail extends to its visual aesthetics and set design. The apartment building, a character in its own right, reflects the passage of time and the history of its inhabitants. Subtle changes in decor, the inclusion of personal artifacts, and the careful placement of props contribute to the sense of lived-in authenticity that permeates every frame. Lighting choices are particularly effective. Warm, golden tones during family gatherings evoke intimacy and comfort, while cooler, muted palettes during moments of tension or solitude underscore the emotional stakes. Humor is deployed strategically throughout the series, ranging from slapstick to situational comedy, witty wordplay, and ironic observation. One extended sequence involves a neighborhood talent show in which multiple characters pursue conflicting objectives, resulting in a cascade of misunderstandings and comic mishaps. The choreography of this scene, combined with precise timing and clever editing, demonstrates the production team's skill in orchestrating complex comedic set pieces. Comparisons to prior iterations of 227 are inevitable, and 227 Show 2025 manages to honor its legacy while introducing fresh perspectives. Longtime fans will recognize familiar character archetypes and recurring motifs, yet the series boldly explores contemporary social issues, updated humor sensibilities, and more intricate character arcs. The decision to incorporate diverse perspectives and multi-ethnic casting further enriches the narrative, reflecting the evolving cultural landscape and enhancing relatability for modern audiences. Anecdotally, behind-the-scenes accounts reveal that cast members contributed personal experiences to the storylines, adding authenticity and depth to performances. For example, an improvised line in a scene where Mary consoles a neighbor about work stress became a key emotional moment, demonstrating the collaborative and dynamic nature of the production process. The series also excels in portraying generational contrasts, sequences highlighting the tension between Mary's traditional upbringing and her granddaughter's contemporary outlook provide fertile ground for both humor and thoughtful reflection. Visual storytelling reinforces these themes, with costume choices, props, and framing subtly signaling shifts in worldview and interpersonal dynamics. Furthermore, 227 Show 2025 frequently employs clever callbacks and foreshadowing. Lines of dialogue, minor character actions, and recurring motifs in early episodes gain new significance in later arcs, rewarding attentive viewers and enhancing the overall narrative cohesion. This layered storytelling approach adds depth, encouraging repeated viewings and deeper engagement with character journeys. One notable aspect is the show's handling of adversity and resilience. Characters face financial setbacks, health concerns, and interpersonal conflicts, yet the narrative emphasizes adaptability, community support, and moral integrity. A particularly impactful sequence involves Mary rallying neighbors to support a family in crisis, blending humor, suspense, and heartfelt emotion to underscore the show's central thesis. Heroism is often found in ordinary acts of care and courage. Dialogue throughout the series is consistently sharp and multidimensional. Writers avoid simplistic exchanges, instead crafting conversations that reveal character motivations, interpersonal history, and subtle social commentary. A scene in which Mary and Albert debate ethical dilemmas surrounding a neighborhood issue exemplifies this approach. The discussion is simultaneously funny, thought-provoking, and character-revealing, demonstrating the show's narrative sophistication. Visual composition and camera work are equally notable. Directors employ long takes, dynamic tracking shots, and careful framing to emphasize relationships and spatial dynamics within the apartment complex. For example, a single shot following Mary as she navigates multiple domestic crises simultaneously conveys chaos, empathy, and narrative coherence without relying on rapid editing or expository dialogue. Themes of loyalty, identity, and community cohesion permeate the series. Through humor, drama, and nuanced character work, the show posits that familial and social bonds constitute a form of heroism that is accessible to all. These thematic explorations are reinforced through recurring visual motifs, symbolic objects, and carefully constructed parallels between different narrative arcs. Another strong aspect of 227 Show 2025 is its ability to create emotional resonance through small, everyday moments. A fleeting glance, a shared laugh, or a quietly offered gesture of support often carries more weight than overtly dramatic sequences, reinforcing the show's focus on realism and emotional truth. The supporting cast is richly developed, with minor characters receiving distinct arcs and moments of narrative importance. These characters contribute to world building, providing texture and complexity to the series' portrayal of urban life, while also allowing the lead cast to shine in contrast. Humor remains a constant, with multi-layered jokes appealing to both children and adults, often relying on timing, situational irony, or character-specific quirks rather than broad slapstick alone. The show frequently subverts expectations, turning seemingly mundane scenarios into insightful commentary on human nature, social norms, and the intricacies of family life. The writing team demonstrates exceptional awareness of pacing, knowing when to accelerate action for comedic effect and when to linger on emotional beats. This balance ensures sustained engagement over extended episodes and allows viewers to connect deeply with characters' journeys. Music, sound, and ambient noise complement the visual storytelling, from the soft clatter of dishes during family breakfasts to the distant hum of city traffic, creating an immersive, realistic sonic environment that enhances narrative immersion. 227 Show 2025 is notable for its subtle exploration of moral and ethical questions. Characters are confronted with dilemmas that test patience, integrity, and empathy, yet the show treats these challenges with nuance, avoiding didacticism while still promoting reflection and critical thinking. Costume design and mise-en-scene reinforce character identity and development. Wardrobe choices reflect personal evolution, social positioning, and generational contrast, while set decorations underscore personal histories and thematic motifs. The production's commitment to continuity, internal logic, and visual coherence enhances the overall believability and engagement of the series. In terms of cultural commentary, the show deftly navigates contemporary issues including gender roles, social mobility, and neighborhood dynamics, presenting these topics through relatable, humanized narratives rather than overt exposition. This approach allows for layered interpretation and discussion among viewers of diverse backgrounds. The ensemble cast demonstrates impressive chemistry, with interactions feeling spontaneous and authentic. Improvisation is occasionally integrated, particularly in scenes of heightened emotional or comedic tension, lending a sense of unpredictability and realism that strengthens audience investment. Narrative arcs are meticulously constructed, with early episodes planting seeds that blossom into complex character developments, plot twists, or thematic payoffs. This structural sophistication allows the show to sustain long-term interest and narrative coherence, while exploring multiple subplots concurrently. Humor functions as both entertainment and social commentary, with clever observation, irony, and wordplay illustrating character intelligence, relational dynamics, and cultural nuance. For instance, sequences involving intergenerational misunderstandings highlight differences in values, communication styles, and worldviews, creating humor that is simultaneously insightful and universally accessible. The series' production design pays close attention to the lived-in quality of spaces, from cluttered kitchens to meticulously curated living rooms, enhancing realism and character authenticity. Lighting, color palettes, and spatial arrangement communicate emotional tone and narrative emphasis with subtlety and precision. A recurring motif involves domestic objects serving as narrative anchors, symbolizing memory, identity, or relational bonds. In one episode, a simple family photograph catalyzes reflection, reconciliation, and humor, encapsulating the show's skill in infusing ordinary elements with layered significance. The show also excels in visual storytelling through body language, facial expression, and movement. Subtle gestures convey subtext, relational tension, or emotional shifts without reliance on dialogue, demonstrating a sophisticated understanding of cinematic language. Overall, 227 Show 2025 is a remarkable exploration of family, community, and resilience. Through carefully balanced humor, emotional depth, nuanced character development, and thoughtful production design, the series celebrates the heroism inherent in everyday life, showing that courage, empathy, and loyalty are most profoundly expressed in ordinary interactions. Its ability to blend laughter with reflection, comedy with insight, and individual arcs with communal narratives positions it as a standout entry in contemporary television, one that resonates deeply with audiences and invites repeated viewing, analysis, and discussion.